Impact Twin comes with 3 fantastic plugins: the M40 Reverb, the Assimilator and the ResFilter. On top of that, we are proud to be able to bundle with Ableton Live. It's called Ableton Live Lite 8 TC Electronic Edition. It's an amazing program. And we also have our control panel, which includes the channel tools, a very nice guitar tuner, and the built-in monitor reverb. Let's have a look at the plugins and see how they work and listen to how they sound. The M40 Studio Reverb is included with most of our audio interfaces. It features 3 very nice algorithms: a hall, a room and a plate. It has a few parameters, and those make it very easy to use. We have a pre-delay, a decay time which sets the length of the reverb, and we have a high color which basically sets how bright or dull the reverb sounds. You can of course also set it something in between, very bright and very dull. Down here we have a mix knob. It sets the mix between the dry and the wet signal. In this case I've pressed the 100% knob here, and I've done this because I'm using the plugin in parallel. Let's hear how the dry voice sounds, and then let's add some reverb so you can hear how great it sounds.
You believe in me.
And let me add some reverb.
And finally, I don't waste your time. Don't worry, I'm getting through this long goodbye. Or at least I'll try.
This was an example of how it sounds. The M40 Reverb is included with most of our audio interfaces, as I said before, and it is a fantastic addition to any host you might be working with. ResFilter is included with most of our plugins. It's a great sounding plugin and it's really creative. You have a cutoff parameter here setting the cutoff frequency. You have a resonance that can add resonance at that frequency. You can select which type you want, and you can select the slope as well. On the output section you have a soft saturation and a damper, and you also have a drive knob here and an output. Let's hear how it sounds. I have a small drum loop here. It's just a traditional drum loop. Sounds like this. As you can see, I can control both the cutoff and the resonance parameter by just moving around in the window over on the right side. You can do a lot of great thing and a lot of creative stuff using one instance of the filter. But it gets really interesting if you insert your filter on several tracks, because each of the instances of the ResFilter can actually control each other. Let me show that. I've inserted 2 instances of ResFilter, one on track 1 and one on track 2. First, beware of the instance name. I'll call this the left, and I'll call this, guess what, the right instance. The point is that I can now make any of the parameters on the left ResFilter control any of the parameters on the right ResFilter. How is that done? I select the parameter, I choose the cutoff frequency, and I now want the cutoff frequency of the left ResFilter control the right one. I go down here in the communications section. I select a role for my cutoff parameter here, select master, and in the target parameter I now select my right instance. It's named right because the instance is named right here, so it's also named right in the target parameter. I select cutoff, and here we go. The cutoff of the left ResFilter is controlling the cutoff of the right ResFilter. Now, as you can see, the two parameters are not moving accordingly. That's because I've down here have selected a curve here. I have selected the inverted logarithmic curve, as it said. I could have chosen the linear curve. The linear curve will make them move exactly the same. I can choose the inverted curve, and I also have some logarithmic curves like this one. Watch this. Like that. Let me go back to the linear curve, talk a bit about the range here. I can also set a range. This is the target range. And now if you watch the right cutoff parameter, you can see that it only moves within that range. But that's not all. Down here you can see that I've selected the right, which means the right instance, and I've selected cutoff. But I can actually select more parameters at the same time. So I can choose the resonance, for instance. And now the cutoff parameter is controlling the resonance and the cutoff of my right. I'll just set the range here, like this. Perhaps I should go for the inverted one. And you can see how nicely it is controlled by the left instance. You can also go the other direction, so to speak. I can say that the drive parameter of my right instance is controlling, let's just say, the output parameter of my left, like this. And again, I can set a different curve, like this. This inter-instance communication, meaning the communication between plugins, is extremely powerful, and it opens up for a wealth of creative ideas. You can use this for simple tasks such as crossfading between two tracks using the filter rather than using levels as you might do. Or you can imagine that you have a 16-track song where you insert a ResFilter on each of the tracks and let each of the instances of those tracks control each other, forming a really, really powerful creative structure that you can use with your music. ResFilter is, as I said, included with most of our audio interfaces and provides you with a very, very nice tool, and it is indeed a great addition to any host that you might be working with.